Is there a best way to study history? Well, you're going to discover that there's a lot of discussion on that question. Let's take a few minutes and discuss the approaches you are most likely to encounter. The chronological approach suggests that history should be taught in order from the beginning of time. Since the chronological approach starts at the beginning, where history begins is actually a critical question. A secular chronology includes a lengthy period known as prehistory, which begins with the supposed appearance of the first Homo sapiens somewhere around 100,000 years ago. Most of our secular publishers take this perspective, although it's often possible to ignore the first chapters and just start with the first recorded civilizations. On the other hand, the Judeo-Christian tradition looks to the Old Testament to establish a chronology based on creation. These dates will still vary some, with Bishop Ussher establishing the date of creation as 4004 BC, while those studying the Septuagint suggest 5500 BC. Obviously, both suggest a much shorter time period. Diana Waring's History Alive, The Mystery of History, Biblioplan, Streams of Civilization, and the Veritas and Memoria Press products all follow a Bible-based chronology. This seems like a good place to talk about timelines. Like Laura's gallery of presidential portraits, timelines help us to see the relationship between people and events. Some, like the Parthenon classical timelines and the Adams chart of world history, provide a listing of all events in chronological order. Others, like those from Knowledge Quest or Homeschool in the Woods, allow the student to build the timeline, adding events and people. The same concerns about starting points, however, are a factor in timelines. The patriotic approach to history promotes teaching American history first and more in depth, with a focus on patriotism, and only later adding world history. Patriotism is defined as a devotion to one's country and typically includes a focus on American exceptionalism, the belief that America has a greatness of purpose that no other nation possesses. It's easy to see that this is the approach that Laura experienced in her little town. Beautiful Feet, Truth Quest, Exploring America, and America the Beautiful from Knotgrass Publishers would all fit into the category of patriotic approach studies. Also under that banner would be the traditional Christian textbook providers such as Abeka, Bob Jones, and Alpha Omega. Several other curricula products would be considered patriotic, but are not from Christian publishers: The History of Us, the Uncle Eric books, and Holt American Anthem. What about geography, economics, and government? In the realm of social studies, these will emerge as complete courses at the high school level, but will be covered in bits and pieces in grade school social studies texts. In our history mosaic approach, they would be covered as part of history, but from the perspective of how they interrelate with history. For instance, cultural atlases and regular atlases are common references for history studies. Let's take a quick look at what these subjects involve. The study of geography includes both physical geography and cultural or political geography. Physical geography deals with the natural features of the Earth. It looks at the water, air, animals, and land of planet Earth, everything that is part of the four spheres: the atmosphere, the biosphere, the hydrosphere, and the lithosphere. Physical geography is closely related to geography's sister science, geology. But physical geography focuses more on the landscapes at the surface of the Earth and not what is inside our planet. Cultural geography, sometimes called political geography, refers to human culture and its impact on the Earth. Cultural geographers study languages, religion, foods, building styles, urban areas, agriculture, transportation systems, politics, economies, population and demographics, and more. Map studies are included as part of both cultural geography and physical geography. Series like Maps, Charts, and Graphs, as well as Map Skills for Today, provide a systematic way to ensure that these skills are not forgotten. The goal of education in civics and government is to prepare students to be competent citizens, to be committed to the fundamental values and principles of American constitutional democracy. Government of the people, by the people, and for the people, in Lincoln's phrase, means that people have the right to be involved with their government. But this right is meaningless unless they have the knowledge and skills to exercise that involvement and possess the traits of character required to do so responsibly. Economics studies the methods by which individuals and societies organize production activities and allocate scarce resources to meet material wants and needs. Economics is a logical way of thinking about economic matters rather than a set of answers. The study of economics helps to prepare students to make rational economic choices both in their own lives and in their participation in policy decisions as citizens of a city, a state, a nation, and the world. You're probably beginning to realize why I chose a mosaic to illustrate social studies education, and perhaps why I can say the term is interchangeable with how homeschoolers talk about history. With each of these subject areas, there is obviously much overlap in topics covered and in their presentation. Most history curricula will also include geography studies and often economics and government. About now, you're probably wanting me to just tell you what is best. Guess what? There is no right or wrong way to teach social studies to your children. The sheer volume of products creates a confusing array of choices, doesn't it? And while there are many excellent curricula available for teaching children history, not all are going to be the right fit for every family. Learning the philosophy and the approach of these curricula will help you to make the right choice for your family.